Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 11th day of January 2024. We also have a new moon. I wanted to mention a couple things there. New moon in Capricorn today. Um, right now it's in the 12th house. 12th house is basically about reflection and inner work and all of that. So if you want to consider that as well, after careful reflection, set your intentions for the coming year, or at least for the coming month. A trine with Uranus, between the Uranus and the moon in Capricorn, asks you to expect the unexpected and to remain flexible. While there's also a conjunct, and these are both medium influences, so they're not strong influences, but enough that it may impact you. But anyway, a conjunct with Pluto and the moon suggests that truths may surface that may bring additional clarity during this time. So let's see, I'm going to move my notes out of the way there. Okay. We've had some snow, but we did not get any last night. Supposedly it's supposed to be heavy on Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. You just never know around here. We're at 3,000 feet above sea level, so it stands to reason, but you just never know. We could have it's like in the summertime, we could have anything. We could have hail, we could have snow, we could have rain, we could have nothing at all, just very, very hot weather. The high desert's a weird place like that. So anyway, let's get started. And but if you are experiencing about this blizzard that's coming through the area, stay warm, stay safe, don't go out unless you have to, those kinds of things. Let's go ahead and take the runes, though. The runes are the significators for the reading, by the way, if you've never been here. And if you haven't, and this is your first time, welcome. I hope you'll click subscribe and come back and see what runes and tarot can possibly, how it can possibly influence your life and your decisions, how you see things. But today we have the first rune of the Elder Futhark. We have Fehu. Fehu means cattle and wealth. But what that means really is when you think about it in terms of cattle, it's wealth that's movable. So if it's movable, you can transact with it. And so really, when I see Fehu come up, it can mean success. It can mean all of that, right? But abundance, life force, growth, all of that. But realistically, I tend to bring this down to how we transact our experiences with others, our interactions, all of it. How does that flow? How does that work? Is it positive? Is it successful? Or are there challenges? But let's take a look at the Geomancy rune and see. It's my 9 o'clock ding here on my computer. I don't know. I think it's a Gmail thing, so it's a Google thing. I don't know, though. I'm just guessing. Let's see. Well, we have, is that fire? It is. Well, we've got Caput Draconis. Caput and Cauda Draconis, the Draconi. Caput's about new beginnings. It's the north node of the moon. It's, let's see, where is it? There it is, I think. Yep. It's really about being on the threshold of something new. And given that this is, the new moon here in Capricorn, we're already thinking about that, and since it's the beginning of the year, we're thinking about setting our intentions and goals and all of that for the coming year. And Caput Draconis might be suggesting here that there could be something new. You're on the threshold of something new that could bring abundance to you with Fehu. But again, how you do that is going to matter. Is it going to be from a position of growth and higher awareness? Or are you going to be just very ego focused and letting ego decide all of that? It would suggest to me that 2024 is going to be somewhat transformative anyway. We're going to have, I guess, Pluto is going to spend some time in Aquarius, which is a very profound place for it to be. Social justice issues and trying to make things better for people. Then it's going to reverse again and go back, I think, to Capricorn or something. But that I think, I'm not sure. I have to, don't quote me on that. But then it's toward the end of the year, it's going to go back, I think, into Aquarius and stay there, I guess. Um, and so I think that 2024 portends a really a time of transformation for people. And so it's kind of interesting that how we transact our experiences with other people may grow in a better direction this year than what's been happening in recent years, because it's been difficult. And maybe some enlightenment, maybe some awakenings, maybe some awareness will happen. Today is the 11th day of January. It's the master number for awakening and enlightenment. It's a very spiritual number. And so perhaps what we're going to see is maybe we're going to start interacting with people on that level. Sometimes when it's just like the idea about a conjunct with Pluto and the moon in Capricorn today. Pluto is about truth. Things come up, things come out, things are revealed, and it can be quite explosive. But the other thing it can do is bring insight and clarity to a situation that maybe you didn't have any before, where you really understand what's really going on, and it shifts you into maybe another type of realization that you didn't have before. So let's just keep all that in mind here for the reading. We'll see what the cards have to say. But again, with Fehu, it's ascending energy for magical workings. You can chant Fehu when you're about to cast your intentions in a spell. And it gives it extra, oomph and purpose as it's released to the universe. But it's just the idea that this is part of our life force, being the beginning, the first rune of the Elder Futhark. It signals life force and how we move through life, how we transact our experiences with others. Of course, it'd be nice if I could keep all of my cards in one hand, but no. Let's get down there and get them. Well, how many did I drop? This is interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, that's interesting. Well, High Priestess is on the bottom. So we'll put all of them on the bottom of the deck, and I'll try it again. I've already done some shuffling. It's one of those moments where you should quit while you're ahead, but oh no, we're going to shuffle some more. So anyway, on this Jupiter day, where everything is expansive and all of that, let's see what we can expand our awareness into. Let's cut the deck, take the lower half. And we've got nothing from the court. Yay. I don't care for court cards. I mean, they're okay, but I like something that's a little more definitive. And with court cards, it's either the person on the card or it's the qualities they're in. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but, Let's see. Now, I've pulled the 7 of Wands, the 9 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Cups. So we've got 3 different suits represented: fire, earth, and water. Absent is air. And last Monday, I said I was going to take another card because I think we were absent Pentacles or something like that. Is that what we were? Page of Swords, 4 of Wands, 9 of Cups. Yeah, the same thing, only this time instead of swords we have pentacles. And I didn't do that. I did it after the fact, and I did a note underneath the video saying that's what I did. I think it was the Knight of Pentacles or something. Yeah, it was the Knight of Pentacles, and I included it in the write-up. So if you want to go to the blog over at Stepping Aside, the web address is imsteppingaside.com. If you want to go there and look at that, you can see that. But I did put a note in the comments that I just totally forgot to do, because I said, well, maybe we'll just take one and at the end, and then I didn't. So anyway, let's take a look though. Where's my calculator here? Let's clear that out. We have, let's see, 7 plus 9 plus 6 is 22. Oh, that's interesting. Let's be sure on that. because that's the master number for, that's double the 11. So that's the master number for the cosmic builder, or profound change. So we'll go 7 plus 9 plus 6 equals 22. Oh, plus 1 would be 23 with Fehu. So 5, that'd be 5. 2 and 3 is 5. So again, I think we had 5 last time as the numerology for the entire reading. But just for the cards, you're looking at a 22 numerology. So that's, some profound change here that could be taking place at least here in the near future, or today, or for the coming year, depending on how you want to see this. But let's take a look at the 7 first. 7's about balance. It's about observation, justice, magic. It's about the scales, though. It's letting things settle out. So there's a level of observation with it. You want to let a situation settle out before actually determining what it is you're looking at. Be very clear in what you're looking at. Bring things to balance in your own mind. Even if the situation you're looking at is obviously chaotic and not particularly balanced, as this one seems to be. But he's getting up above everything. I've said this before. I used to teach karate, and my husband and I did, and this would be a stance we would be horrified if our students were in. It's just easier to come up and push them over with your feet sticking out like these are. Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, he's up there with his staff. The interesting part about the staffs that represent wands and the suit of wands is you can always see growth still coming off of them, so they're still alive. And if you've ever cut down a tree that's already greened out, or even if it's not, for a time it's going to continue to grow on the ground, not connected to the earth. So there's this life force within it, similar to the life force in Fehu. So here you have the same, though, 6 others down below him. And I interpret the 7 of wands as standing your ground, doing it in a very active way, even though he's in a defensive posture and not a particular good one, but be that as it may. Obviously, these weren't drawn by a martial artist, so I don't know. Anyway, it is just horrifying. But anyway, you've got the 6 staffs coming up against the guy, and he can see what's coming in on him, but he's going to stand his ground. He's going to try to get above it all and observe. That's part of the 7. So something could be happening here where you need to be very, very aware of what all the factors are involved, and to have that kind of clarity before you can then interact with whatever's happening. If it's people, if it's a situation, before you offer an opinion, you need to be very clear on what that is. And when you do that, then you might discover that there's some peacefulness there as a result. Once you stand your ground and you've said, I'm not going any further here, if it is a stand your ground type of situation, at the end result of it is you're going to have the 9 is about endings and completion. The end result is you're going to be like this nice queen here who's in her garden. She's got one hand on her coins there, another with a falcon on a gloved hand there. She's out on a hunt, basically on the weekend or something. I think, didn't they used to do those on the weekends, Saturdays or Sundays? They would go out on a hunt. The royalty would. You see a certain level of balance here with the 2 trees. You see all the greenery behind her, the grapes that are growing. You see all the grapes that are ready to be harvested. She's in her garden and she's very happy. She's very peaceful and content, and very content with what's going on. This represents a life well lived as well. But I think in this case, after you've stood your ground, you've established what you want, and you can determine your future at that point. A future that's maybe filled with abundance that would align very well with Fehu and the idea of abundance and wealth. And again with Caput Draconis, and the idea of new beginnings, maybe standing your ground has maybe been hard for you in the past, and if it has, this represents something new for you, but hang in there with it because there's something positive that's coming. And from there, this is more internal, all right? But then you can express that same thing, that idea of peace and abundance, to someone else and share that with other people. Here you have, and depending on which set of cards you're using, which deck you're using. This is a little hard to see this as a little boy. But in other decks, like oh gosh, what's the one? Oh, the Robin Wood deck. Uh, uh, in fact, I did the Six of Cups. Was it for this week or next week? I can't remember now. No, I think it's for next week. No. Well, anyway, if it's there on the blog, then it was for this week. Anyway, the other one will come out on Sunday night. But this is really it shows in that particular card in that deck that this is actually a little boy who's offering the chalice of flowers to the woman walking by, because to me this doesn't look like a little boy. It looks like a little girl who's offering something to an older woman is what it looks like in this particular deck. In the Robin Wood deck, though, it looks a little different. It looks like two children. But other than that, basically the cards are the same. I would say the Robin Wood deck is a little more ornate in terms of the castle or home behind. But here you see an X right here, which is reminiscent of the rune Gebo or balanced energy exchange. The 6 is about empathy and guidance and assistance and sharing, like a shared path. It could be like that. But here we're sharing abundance. And you can see also with this card, you see the white lily in each one. There's a sense of newness and of purity, the purity of motive. So this person here, however you want to see the person, whether it's a girl or a boy, they don't expect anything in return for this. This is just a random act of kindness, basically. And so the numerology of 6 reminds me of that. Some people will say that there's a sense of unequalness because this person is bigger and taller than this person. I don't know that matters. Sure, that's there. And also the unequalness of I have and I'm giving to you who doesn't have. So there's a sense of inequality there, maybe. But I don't, for me, although I understand what the other tarot readers are saying here that talk about this, because you'll see it in different tarot books. They talk about the unequalness of the 6s in the tarot. And that's true. You'll see it with the 6 of Pentacles when you've got two poor people on the ground covered in blankets, and a man of means has got the scales behind his back, kind of out of his peripheral vision in one hand, while he's offering some coins to the other. But he's not really doing anything for them, really, that's significant. It's going to raise them up to the same level he is. They're not going to get up off the ground, in other words. They're going to stay in poverty. And so I get that visceral reaction to that card. I don't like it. To me, it's like the illusion of doing something good for someone else when really you're really not doing much. You're not giving them what they really need, which is a job, basically, so they can live their own life. You're not helping them out of that situation. I don't see that, though, with this card. I don't see anything like that in terms of the inequality here, other than they have some abundance they just want to share with everybody walking by. They have too much and they want to give to others just to brighten their day. That's how I see this. And so what I see after standing your ground here, you're coming upon a period where you have some peace and abundance, and then you just want to share that with other people. Now, maybe this represents a different mindset going into this new year. I don't know. For you, but at the same time, because maybe you struggled before. Maybe this is about that struggle, and now you've finally gotten somewhere, and you're like, oh no, you're not gonna knock me off my hill here. This is where I'm going to be now, and this is the way it is. There's that feeling to this card as well. It's like, don't even think of coming at me, because whatever you're going to do, I'm going to be able to deal with it. And so in the end, you're like the queen, where you have this sense of abundance about you that you then want to share with other people. And whether it's flowers in a golden cup, or whether it's your time, or whether it's your wisdom or your concern, your support, walking, standing by someone who needs that, who is standing behind them, standing up with them, standing in defense of them, whatever it is, giving that time to other people, and that sense of I'm here with you. I want to brighten your day. I want to make sure you know you have my support. It's that natural flow of where I have enough and I'm going to give to someone else now. And I don't expect anything in return. I just, because I want to. It's like when somebody shows up after the garden season, and they're harvesting things, and they show up on your doorstep and say, "Here, you want some tomatoes, or you want some cucumbers or zucchini or whatever? I've got a ton of it. I'd love to share some with you." It's that sort of feeling, right? Where you just want to give of what you've done to other people, and to express that feeling of I'm going to share with you what I just grew, and again, growth is part of Fehu. So there's a sense of personal growth here, maybe, where after doing this, you've empowered yourself enough that things have changed for you. There's a shift and toward abundance, and Fehu says this. And with Caput Draconis, you're looking at on the threshold of new beginnings that are positive. And so, as opposed to Cata Draconis, where it's kind of like a evil influence, and it's karma's going to get you, and it's like, no, that's not what karma is. But anyway, that's kind of the old adage: karma will get you if you're not careful. Well, no, karma is just working off some things you didn't contend with all that well in a prior life experience. And so it doesn't have to be past life. It often is, but it doesn't have to be. It can just be, earlier in life you kind of maybe didn't do so well with one thing or another, and now you're getting another chance at it. But the idea with Caput Draconis, it's that, no, you're on the threshold of something new and wonderful here today, and that's going to increase your own individual growth, perhaps your abundance, because we can determine or define wealth as all kinds of things. It doesn't have to be financial, although typically it is. But there's a lot of ways. We've had Fortuna Major both times last week. Same sort of thing, greater fortune. How do we define that for ourselves? Again, is it money? It can be, sure. Success, in what you're doing at your job, or in your career, or in your business, or what have you. It could be all kinds of monetary return. But wealth and greater fortune can mean all kinds of other things too. The relationships you have with other people, how hard you work to get to where you are. It's just it can be a more inner type of experience that doesn't have really anything to do with money. Spirituality can be your true wealth. Maybe you find your spirituality. Maybe you finally understand that you're a soul having these experiences, and you start to think, well, how am I nourishing my soul by being stuck in the ego all the time? How am I allowing soul to define how I see things if I'm constantly reacting in ways that are judgmental and harsh and unable to see the bigger picture? So lots of ways to consider what Fehu could mean in terms of wealth. The growth of your bank account, or your inner growth that you experience. So you can see that there's there's an as above, so below aspect to all of this. Whether or not we're willing to draw in spirit awareness, whether or not we're willing to draw in higher awareness to how we see the world and our interactions out there with people, and with how we obtain our wealth, our monetary wealth. Are we doing that with integrity, or is it all just about us and getting as much money, amassing as much money as we possibly can? So you see that in the differences between very, very wealthy people who have no clue how the rest, especially if it's generational wealth, no idea how the rest of the world lives. They just don't. They might see something, but they've never experienced it, and so they really don't know. And so there's that disconnect. And maybe this year, maybe that's what we're trying to find, a new connection there, to see things in a different way, and then to stand our ground about it, and to express ourselves in a way that our true abundance has to do with how we share it with other people. So Anyway, I don't know how this is going to apply to all of you. I try to keep things, as you know, if you've been here before, I try to keep this as general as possible so that you can find something about it that's going to help you through your day, or maybe make you think about something in a different way. But again, if we're looking at just the 22 for the cards, it's kind of a profound thing that's happening here. This new flow of energy, where you're really taking a look at what's going on in your own existence, in your own life, in your own piece of the world, and standing up for what you believe, standing up for what you have finally come to terms with, and saying, no, this is how I see it now. I get it now. And from there, it just opens up a whole new place for you where you can, the abundance flows to you. And again, it seems to, in the end, define it as how we can share that with other people. So it suggests that at least part of this is how you interact with others, how you see other people, may be changing here in a profound way. And hopefully it's one that reflects spirit instead of, what am I going to do to get even here? That would be an ego thing, right? It's not about that, I don't think. I think that you're on the threshold of something very profound, some change that is very profound. Because even if we look at this as a 25, which reduces to, or 23, which reduces to 5, and that's change and protection, and it's also freedom versus restriction. How much are we restricting? How much have we been restricting ourselves into a very narrow mindset, maybe? And now you're on the threshold of a little bit different, or maybe a whole lot different way of seeing things, a whole different mindset in this coming year. So several ways we can look at that, and I don't think that we lose the 22 if we add the 1 for Fehu to it. I don't think that we lose that component. I think it's such a powerful number. On this 11 energy day, it's all master number stuff. So it would be, it's all, so in a sense, it's very similar to the major arcana, and viewing those cards as a soul archetype card. So this is very higher awareness stuff that's going on here. And given that this is the new moon, it gives you that chance, to reflect on where you're going and what that's going to look like going forward. And again, with Uranus, to expect the unexpected and remain flexible. But for me, Pluto seems to be the more interesting transit here, suggesting that truths may surface that bring additional clarity. I think that we can get caught up in what other people want us to think and want us to believe, what people are telling us and defining for us. You see it on the news now. It used to be, when I was growing up, the news was all about the facts. You just got the facts, and people would decide what they felt about it, right? Not anymore. Now you watch the news and they tell you what to think about it. They have pundits on, that come on and say, well, this is how I define it. Well, okay, that's fine. But if what they're saying is simply their own opinion, then I suppose you can listen to it and decide what you think. But you got to be careful. And I think that all too often you hear it often enough, right? It's repeated often enough, and pretty soon you start to believe that it's true when maybe it's just simply somebody's opinion. And you get going in a direction, and all of a sudden, this year comes to a close, and there's just been so much that's happened that you really maybe start to redefine all of that for yourself. And I think that the readings that we had last week, I think that and this one is Mondays, and this one as well, it just seems like there's a redefinition that's taking place, and a new way of seeing things. Based on truth that maybe you ignored in the past, or maybe you didn't understand was the truth, or maybe other people were saying, no, it's this, and you believed it, because it sounded reasonable to you, I think that this next year for 2024, I think that we're going to be, 2024 is an 8 numerology, and so there you're looking at tremendous inner strength, to be able to really wade through the nonsense and decide for yourself, what is my future going to look like? Am I going to reject the stuff I thought was real? It's not real, as not real, or am I firmly, there? I understand that's the truth of things, and I'm right, and I'm going to go in this direction. So there's a lot of overall kinds of things that are going to be influencing us this year. But again, I think with this reading, thinking about what is wealth to you. What is abundance? How do you share that with other people? How do you embrace it in your own life? And how do you stand your ground about it? And say, no, I'm done. This is what I'm going to do now. This is how I see things. This is what's going to happen now. And the rest of you can just go on about your business, and I'm going to go about mine. That's another thing that I get from the Seven of Wands. So, things to think about today, I guess, and over the weekend. I mean, especially if you're snowed in, like we might end up being. I don't know. The snowblower is ready to go, but we have almost an 800-foot driveway to deal with, so it's like, gotta have a snowblower. Used to be, we've only had it, I think, since 2017, and we've lived here since 1981. So it's always, we're either stuck here or we're shoveling. So that's not fun. So finally we got the doggone snowblower. But when you have a gravel driveway, you got to get one of those 2-stage ones so it doesn't pick up the rocks and destroy your snowblower. So we finally bought one of those, and boy, what a lifesaver. I wish we'd done it sooner. But I mean, they didn't have them for a long time. I mean, they've been out for a while, though, and we should have bought one back then, but when they first came out. But that would have saved us a lot of my husband anyway, a lot of hard work that he didn't need to do. So, and he likes the snowblower. He has headlights, so it's very cool. He can be out at dark and do it. It's a lot of fun for him. So anyway, that's what he'll be doing if we get the heavy snow that's promised, and just so we can get out and go to the store. We stocked up, though, and so we'll see how long that carries us, though. Anyway, that's it. Have a good weekend, and look for the stuff to come out on the blog on Saturday or Sunday night, midnight. The correspondences for Work and Magic for the week will be there. The forecasts for the week will be there. There's another little astrology cheat sheet that's there, and then I'm still doing the Exploring Tarot series. So look for that, and we'll talk again on Monday. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.